Anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. You know who knows that? Do you know who can prove that to you? Anti-Zionists themselves. Hi, everyone. I'm Eyal Bitton, host of Proudly Jewish. I started this podcast 3 weeks after the horrific massacre of October 7th. Now, the full title of the podcast is actually Proudly Jewish, Conversations on Israel and Jewish Identity. Why did I talk about Jewish identity? Because the attack on October 7th was really an assault on Israel's Jewish character. The reason Hamas, among other Palestinian factions, wanted to destroy Israel is because it's a Jewish state. And the following is the biggest part of it when it comes to Jewish identity. Immediately on October 7th, the assault on Jewish identity worldwide began. Protests, terrible things being said about Jews. Why? Because the atrocities committed against citizens of the Jewish state were propelled by anti-Zionism, by people who are fundamentally opposed to the national liberation movement of the Jewish people, who will forever reject the formation of the Jewish state on the ancestral homeland of the Jewish people. Yet, it's very convenient for people to say, look, I'm not anti-Semitic, I'm anti-Zionist, I'm anti-Israel. It's a way out. It's saying, I'm not prejudiced, I'm principled. And while there are many layers to that, the truth is that at its core, it's very simple. The anti-Zionist campaign, the campaign to erase the state of Israel, cannot take place without massive ethnic cleansing and genocide of the Jewish people. That's half the world's Jewish population. There is nothing more anti-Semitic than that. There is nothing more anti-Jewish than seeking to undo Zionism. In this episode, I don't want to explore the concepts. I want to look at actual events and statements showing that pro-Palestinian activists who claim to be anti-Zionist actually know that they're anti-Semitic. They know that their opposition to Israel is connected to Jews. They know that their hatred of Israel is Jew hatred. How do I know that they know? Let's take a look at some examples. There's the campus anti-Semitism that we've seen, right? Where there's a litmus test of Jewish identity. And the litmus test is that you have to renounce and denounce Israel. Jewish students are often expected to renounce any attachment to our ancestral homeland for acceptance. That's an assault on Jewish identity. But I'm not going to look at that right now. I'm going to look at actual actions by pro-Palestinians showing that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. The first one I want to look at is something that just happened last week. There was an attack on an Anne Frank statue in Amsterdam. Anne Frank. Take a look. They painted Anne Frank's hands red as though she has blood on them and wrote, "Free Gaza" at the foot of the statue. Why her? Why Anne Frank? Because she's Jewish. The thinking is, how can a Jew be a victim when the Palestinians are the victims and the Jews are responsible? Also, an important part of this attack on Anne Frank is that the Jew, in their mind, cannot ever be seen as oppressed. The Jew cannot ever be the object of sympathy. And so, even the ultimate victim, the ultimate Jewish victim of the ultimate horror of the last century, this innocent teenage girl named Anne Frank, is to be viewed as guilty, as having blood on her hands, simply because she's a Jew. Now, look at this. This is a Toronto synagogue. Hen Mazik posts this. A Toronto synagogue was vandalized a few weeks ago, so the community came together to their holy place. Look, again, a synagogue was vandalized to begin with, and the Jewish community gathered together for an evening of solidarity against hate. They came together to support each other, to say, we were targeted in this act of hate, and we're here for each other, in support of each other, and to say, we do not stand for hate. So what happened? The Free Palestine folks showed up outside the synagogue to protest them. Protesting what? Jews. They were protesting Jews. They were targeting a Jewish house of worship. This is unacceptable. This is anti-Semitic, and yet it has become acceptable. People tolerate this. No one's going online expressing outrage on behalf of the Jews, not in big numbers. And that's shameful. In London, just last week, pro-Palestinian activists showed up at a play, Fiddler on the Roof. Fiddler is a Jewish story with Jewish patrons, and they show up to protest that. Why? Because of Israel? No, it's not a play about Israel. It's because it's a play about Jews, and there are Jews in the audience, and they know it. They went to where the Jews were. They went to a Jewish event to protest them. Now, it's not a protest. I'm using protest as a euphemism, as they are. They are intimidating these people. And their message, in my view, is that these people are trying to send to the Jewish people is, you who have the Jewish state as part of your identity, even you must disconnect if you are to be safe, which is extremely threatening. It's extremely threatening, and they know that. That's the point. But let me get to my main point here again, which is that these pro-Palestinian activists understand that their anti-Zionism is connected to Jews, which is why they target Jews. Let's watch some of what happened over there in London.
Look at it. Look at your face, bro. Look at that toast. He's Siberian. Go chat to your boy. Go and get some bricks and throw them at the police. You are an embarrassment to England. Stop it, please. Just stop it.
The whole premise of protesting Fiddler on the Roof is an act of Jew hatred. They're doing something that is anti-Semitic. They're targeting a Jewish play where there are Jewish patrons. And they're not doing it peacefully, are they? They're not. They're coming in a hostile fashion, carrying Palestinian flags and spewing hate at patrons. One of them calls out, "Bye, Zios." Bye, Zios. Zios is a derogatory term for Zionists. And what does he mean? Bye, Zios. What does that even mean? It means your time is done. This is so anti-Semitic and so threatening. Here are some pro-Palestinians who are protesting Netanyahu's visit to the States. Now, that's legitimate. You want to protest a government official visiting from another country or from your own country, and you oppose their policies? Go ahead, fine. But here's what some fine young man among this group says. He shouts at a Jewish demonstrator on the other side of the fence who clearly supports Israel. Allahu Akbar Hamas. He's celebrating Hamas and praising God for Hamas, a US designated terrorist group responsible for the largest and most gruesome massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. And he yells to the Jewish protesters, calling them Jewish mother something. Watch.
Allahu Akbar Hamas! Allahu Akbar Hamas! Yes! We're gonna win in the end! We're gonna win! You coward! Coward! You cowards! Go to Alaska! Go to Alaska! Don't come to our country! Go to Alaska! Let Biden and all the Jewish lobby take you to Alaska! We don't want you in our country! You're gonna see! You wear diapers! No army! Jewish motherfucker! Yo!
The fellow underlines Jewish, right? The Jewish lobby, not the Israeli lobby, the Jewish lobby. And who's he yelling at? He's yelling at the Jews. So he knows. He knows when he talks about hating Israel and Netanyahu, he recognizes fully that they're Jews, and that's where he directs his hate at the Jews who are outside demonstrating their support for Israel. They're Jews, and he knows it. He connects the two because he knows that anti-Zionism is anti-Jew. It's Jew hatred. Let's take a look now at what happened in Los Angeles not that long ago. Protesters in a very Jewish area, Pico Robertson, blocked entry to a synagogue and attacked Jews. Here's Congressman Adam Schiff's tweet. Blocking entry to a synagogue, attacking Jewish people and their businesses indiscriminately, that's not protest. He's right. It's not protest. That's pure, plain anti-Semitism. Again, he's right. It is anti-Semitism. The horrifying violence in Pico Robertson on Sunday has absolutely no place in California. Yeah, but it happened. It happened. And again, not much outrage from the non-Jewish public. It's seen as acceptable. These people are really angry at Israel. No, they're targeting a synagogue. They're targeting Jewish businesses. They're targeting Jews, and they're doing it violently. Let's take a look at what they did here. Let's watch. So let's go back to Toronto. I'm going to show you this rally, a pro-Palestinian rally that took place on the streets of Toronto. Everyone's got their Palestinian flags, and the guy in the front with the microphone, what's he saying? Take a close listen here. Watch.
Whether it's on the streets, whether it's at work, or whether it's in your place of worship, it could be at a synagogue, everyone will be held accountable.
He says, everyone will be held accountable. Everyone will be held accountable. And who? Where? Whether it's in your place of worship, it could be at a synagogue. It crosses his mind to talk about people in a synagogue. He knows. He knows that the Jewish state is a Jewish state. And he makes the connection between Toronto Jews and Israeli Jews. He knows that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. That's why he raises the specter of Jews being attacked. That's why he threatens people who go to a synagogue who are Jews. You will be held accountable. Where? Could be at a synagogue. Notice that absolutely no one in the rally is upset by this statement. They're fine with it. In Valley Village this past June, the Free Palestine crowd are waving their Palestinian flags, displaying their banners, and shouting through a megaphone, "Free, free Palestine." So what's the problem? They're directing their protest at a school. At a school associated with the congregation, with a synagogue. Since when is this acceptable? It should bring about the outrage of everyone. Yet it didn't. No one cares, really. How safe do you think the Jewish kids at this school feel? And their parents? Watch.
You coming to our schools? Huh? You coming to our schools? Hey, ask a question. You coming to our schools? You coming to our schools? Huh? You coming to our schools? You coming to our schools? Huh?
Don't touch me!
Don't touch you.
Don't touch me! You just grabbed the megaphone! Go across the street if you're gonna be an agitator!
My kids study here. They're coming to my school. They're coming to my school, to my kids' school.
I understand that they have a right to protest. Just keep a cool mind, okay?
Notice, by the way, that a policeman tells an upset parent that these pro-Palestinians have the right to protest. But what are they protesting? Who are they protesting? They're in front of a Jewish school. They're protesting Jewish kids. They're protesting Jewish identity. Now let's go back to 2021, and take a look at this convoy of pro-Palestinians in London going through the streets. What are they saying? F the Jews. And something they want to do something to the women, to the Jewish women, to our daughters.
Stop the mothers, stop the daughters, and show the support for Palestine. Shut them up, rape the daughters. We have to send a message.
Pretty revolting. Again, their connection is to Jews. They're connecting their hate of Israel with the Jews. So they understand fully, crystal clear, that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. So we don't have to go into a theoretical discussion of anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism. We don't need to talk about ideology. If you want to know why anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, don't come to us Jews, to explain it. If you want to know why anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, just ask the Free Palestine folks targeting a Jewish play. Just ask the folks targeting a Jewish school. Just ask the anti-Zionist folks shouting in the streets about assaulting Jewish women. Just ask the pro-Palestinian threatening to hold synagogues accountable. Just ask the Free Gaza folks defacing the statue of Anne Frank. These anti-Zionist activists are the real experts when it comes to explaining why anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism.